What's going on, everyone? Today we're covering how to scrape Shopify stores for price intelligence using proxies in 2026. Shopify powers over 4 million online stores worldwide, making it the single largest source of e-commerce product data on the internet. The platform's standardized architecture means that once you understand how one Shopify store works, you can apply that knowledge across millions of others. But Shopify has steadily tightened its anti-bot protections, and scraping at scale without the right proxy setup will get you blocked fast. Unlike many e-commerce platforms that require complex page parsing, Shopify exposes product data through several predictable endpoints. Every Shopify store has a product's JSON endpoint that returns product data in structured JSON format. It supports pagination, letting you retrieve 30 products per page by default and up to 250 per page at maximum. The JSON response includes product titles, descriptions, variants with individual pricing, images, and inventory status. Each variant contains its own price, compare it price, SKU, and availability. You can also access products by collection, either across all collections or filtered to a specific one. This is useful when you only need to monitor specific product categories. For single product data, you can append .json to any product URL to get full details for that item. Shopify stores also automatically generate sitemaps, which contain links to all product pages and serve as your starting point for discovering every product URL before scraping. Shopify has significantly upgraded its bot detection over the past 2 years. The checkpoint challenge system analyzes request headers, TLS fingerprints, and behavioral signals before granting access. Requests that fail the checkpoint receive a 429 or 503 response with a challenge page. Rate limits are enforced per IP address. The storefront API is limited to approximately 2 requests per second per IP. The product JSON endpoint typically allows 40 to 60 requests per minute per IP before throttling, and individual product pages have similar but less aggressively enforced limits. Persistent abuse can lead to IP bans. Many Shopify Plus stores also use Cloudflare as an additional layer, which adds JavaScript challenges, browser integrity checks, and managed challenge pages that are difficult to bypass without a real browser environment. Shopify and its CDN partners also analyze the TLS handshake of incoming connections. Common scraping libraries have distinctive TLS fingerprints that differ from real browsers, making them easy to identify and block. For most Shopify price intelligence work, rotating residential proxies offer the best balance of cost and reliability. ISP or mobile proxies are worth the premium only for heavily protected Shopify Plus stores that use Cloudflare or custom bot detection. To build a working scraping setup, start by identifying target stores. You can recognize a Shopify store by checking for common Shopify markers in the page source or by checking if the product's JSON endpoint exists. Once you have your target list, fetch the sitemap for each store to discover all product URLs, then use products JSON with pagination to get an initial snapshot of all products and variants. For your proxy pool, set up rotating residential proxies and assign a new IP every 5 to 10 requests to a single store. Use sticky sessions of 1 to 2 minutes when paginating through products.json to avoid mid-session blocks, and distribute requests across multiple proxy endpoints for geographic diversity. For JSON endpoints, a simple HTTP client works. For stores that block direct JSON access, you need a headless browser with realistic fingerprints. Set user agent headers that match current browser versions. Include standard browser headers for accept language, and accept encoding. Implement exponential backoff on 429 responses, and store timestamps with every price observation for historical analysis. Can handle rate limits long term. Keep requests under 1 per second per IP to any single store. Implement per store request queuing. Back off for 30 to 60 seconds on any IP that returns a 429. Rotate to a fresh proxy after any rate limit response, and spread your scraping schedule across the day. Shopify products often have multiple variants with different prices. Each variant has its own price, compare price, and inventory fields. Make sure your scraper captures every variant, not just the base product. For more efficient monitoring, use a change detection approach. Fetch products, JSON, and store hashes of each product's price data. On subsequent scrapes, compare hashes to identify which products changed, then only fetch full details for changed products. This reduces request volume by 80 to 90% while still catching every price change. This API requires a storefront access token, usually findable in the page source, and lets you query exactly the fields you need, reducing bandwidth usage. Shopify Markets allows stores to display different prices in different currencies and regions. To capture geo-specific pricing, send requests through proxies in the relevant country, and include the appropriate locale headers. A few common mistakes to avoid. Always extract pricing at the variant level, not just the base product price. Aggressive scraping leads to blocks and IP burn, so slow, steady scraping with proper rotation is more effective long term. Update your user agent headers quarterly, since outdated strings get flagged. Make sure you handle pagination properly on stores with hundreds of products. Always capture the compare at price field, which tells you the original price before a sale and is essential for tracking discount patterns. Running all scrapes from one region creates an unnatural traffic pattern, so distribute requests across proxy locations. As you scale from monitoring a handful of competitors to tracking hundreds or thousands of Shopify stores, consider using dedicated scraping infrastructure with built-in proxy management rather than handling rotation manually. Scraping publicly available pricing data from Shopify stores is generally considered legal for price comparison and competitive intelligence purposes. Respect robots' tax directives where applicable. Do not overload stores with excessive requests. Do not scrape personal customer data. Review each store's terms of service regarding automated access and store collected data in compliance with applicable data protection regulations. But on the question of whether you can scrape any Shopify store using products, JSON, most stores have this endpoint enabled by default, but some store owners disable it. Shopify Plus merchants have more control and may block it entirely. If the JSON endpoint is blocked, fall back to parsing HTML product pages or using a headless browser to render JavaScript-loaded content. With a pool of 200 to 500 rotating residential proxies and an efficient change detection approach, you can comfortably monitor 500 to 1,000 Shopify stores with hourly price checks. The limiting factor is usually proxy budget rather than technical capacity. When you encounter checkpoint challenges frequently, switch to higher quality proxies such as ISP or mobile, use a headless browser with realistic fingerprints, and reduce your request rate. Persistent challenges usually indicate your IP pool's trust score is too low or your request pattern is too aggressive. JSON endpoint is simpler and requires no authentication for most stores. The Storefront API offers more control and efficiency for specific queries, but requires a storefront access token. For basic price monitoring, products.json is usually sufficient. For advanced use cases like real-time inventory tracking across many variants, the Storefront API is worth the extra setup. Product matching across different Shopify stores is one of the harder parts of price intelligence. Start with SKU matching, since the SKU often matches or is very similar when two stores sell the same product. When SKUs do not match, use a combination of product title similarity, brand or vendor name, and product attributes. For higher accuracy, consider image comparison or barcode and UPC matching where that data is available in the product metadata. That's everything for today's guide on scraping Shopify stores for price intelligence. If you want more resources, Data Research Tools.com has hundreds of articles on proxies, scraping, automation, and more. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.